Alrighty everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far. Happy Wednesday everybody. We are inching closer and closer to the Ahsoka Tano series, which by the way, the Disney executives keep calling this the home run for Disney Plus Star Wars, and hopefully they are right. I do have a lot of faith in both JON FAVREAU and especially Dave Filoni, since he wrote this thing all by himself. With zero Kathleen Kennedy input, she had no creative control over this whatsoever, which is exactly why I feel not just the marketing of this series is on point, but also the overall approach to this series has a lot of quality-driven aspects to it. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, one thing about this transition that Disney is going through right now, the decision-making process of who is going to take over Lucasfilm as the new president over Kathleen Kennedy, if and when she goes, it's all highly dependent on the success and/or failure of Indiana Jones 5. We've talked about this several times, about how Indy 5's success and/or failure is going to determine if Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired or not. And the thing that worries me, along with a lot of other fans out there, is that Indy 5's success and/or failure is going to be interesting, because what does Disney really consider bad? In their eyes, what is a bad box office result, right? That really makes you wonder exactly what numbers are they really going to go by. Are they going to go by the ticket sales that were created by the first week, or the second week, or opening weekend? What are they really going to go by? So, moving to the next big thing here, what's interesting about their overall approach is that with both JON FAVREAU and Dave Filoni now very busy developing their new Star Wars TV shows and movies for the Star Wars universe, however, one of the big developments that may come across as a surprise to everyone involves JON FAVREAU and the Disney board. Now, recently Favreau was offered the role to take over Lucasfilm as the president if and when Kathleen Kennedy is fired, depending on the success or failure of Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny. Now, the big part of this development is that toward the end of May of this year, Favreau was offered the position as both president and/or vice president of Lucasfilm, to add him to the candidate list of many others becoming a part of the decision-making process to replace Kathleen Kennedy. Now, Favreau reportedly did not want to take the role just yet for Lucasfilm president, since he wanted to focus on fixing the Star Wars franchise and catering to the entire fan base and the community. Favreau is still said to be keeping this as an option open, however, down the road if he has a change of heart, and is now said to have added himself to the candidate list, out of course, one of the 5 others that are awaiting to take over Kathleen Kennedy. Now, for those of you that don't really know, we've talked about this. Neil H. Moritz is one of them that's on the list. We also have Dana Brunetti. We also have Simon Kinberg on there. And the list just keeps growing every single month. And to be honest, I think that Dana Brunetti would be the best choice available, since he is a very big Star Wars fan. He made a movie called Fanboys, which is a love letter to the Star Wars fans in 1990s, early 2000s culture. And if you guys have not seen that film, go ahead and check it out. It really kind of honors the overall, fan lifestyle of Star Wars, like I said, in the 90s and the 2000s. But what's interesting here is the fact that Favreau, yes, added himself to the candidate list, but absolutely refused to say, I'm in 100% right away. So they could actually go through one option, alright? And this is something that Disney is thinking about right now, is by getting a new Lucasfilm president on board to take over Kathleen Kennedy if Indy 5 is really that big of a failure. The option that Disney is going through right now is, once JON FAVREAU is available and ready to take on that position, they would later replace the newly replaced president of Lucasfilm to bring in JON FAVREAU on board. Now, that would, of course, be the best option, and that is something that Disney is looking over right now, and it's something that they have been invested in for the past couple of weeks. However, past this, Filoni was also questioned if he would like to join, but he ultimately refused the offer and does not want to shift away from his creativity at all. Favreau also is putting his decision on hold due to the fact that he is trying to build up momentum for Star Wars by giving fans as much Legends content and live-action adaptations as possible for the fans to enjoy. Additionally, Kathleen Kennedy was not supportive at all over Favreau adding himself to the candidate list for Disney to choose from, since of course he doesn't agree with the business ideas, or she does not agree with those business ideas that Favreau has in mind to run Lucasfilm. Now look, we know that Kennedy has her own business layout for Lucasfilm. It's all about keeping costs down and really kind of just keeping it at that. She wants to lower the budgets of every single Star Wars project out there. It's why she literally slashed the budget of the Acolyte practically in half to really save the marketing. And the same exact thing goes as follows for Skeleton Crew. The budget was slashed in half mostly to dial back on the marketing. And a lot of that also had to do with Indiana Jones 5. Believe it or not, the budget would have been a little bit higher if they had invested more in the marketing of this film. I still find it crazy to this day. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not seeing ads on TV, I'm not seeing ads on the internet for Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, that just play normally. I'm not seeing this. What I'm seeing a lot of is Mission Impossible 7, I'm seeing The Flash, I'm seeing all those upcoming movies, but not Indiana Jones. It's like they're overtaking the marketing of The Dial of Destiny, and Indiana Jones is not getting the marketing that it needs to really kind of create that momentum for even the common moviegoers. So that's another big fail on Kathleen Kennedy's end of the spectrum there, was by getting very cheap on the marketing to save for a potential loss. So she knows about the potential loss here. So again, what's interesting to me is how Favreau really is kind of just holding off his opportunity. He has himself on the list, and if and when he's ready, he's going to be able to take over Lucasfilm if he wants to shift away from filmmaking and really kind of just lay it out that way. So that's the true story about all of this. Basically, he's on the list, and once Kathleen Kennedy shifts away, he's going to be able to take over if and when he wants to replace himself with the new Lucasfilm president. For example, if Dana Brunetti gets on board or Neil H. Moritz gets on board, and they stay like that for a year or two, when Favreau's ready, he can take them over. That's Disney's plan. So, anyways, it's interesting to say the least. We got well under 29 days to go until Indiana Jones 5 drops in theaters. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this performs, what the fan reception is going to be like ultimately in the States and around the globe, and how that's really going to make Disney's decision with Kathleen Kennedy. You know, we already know that she has a golden parachute. She's going to be paid tens of millions of dollars to essentially get laid off or fired, which is completely crazy in my opinion, but I would love to hear your opinion on all of this below in the comments, guys, and if you all did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.